Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today we are diving deep into a truly fascinating and potentially life-changing discovery in the world of coin collecting, the 1960 Lincoln 1-cent penny. This unassuming little coin might just be hiding in your change jar right now, and if it is, you could be sitting on a fortune worth more than $1.14 million. Yes, you heard that right, over $1 million for a single penny. So grab a seat and make sure to stick around until the end, because we are going to explore everything from the coin's rich history and minting details to what exactly makes it so incredibly rare and valuable in today's market. Let's start with a bit of background. The Lincoln cent has been around since 1909 and was introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first United States coin to feature the image of a real person and not just a symbolic figure. Fast forward to 1960 and the United States Mint was still producing Lincoln cents, but with one major twist. That year in particular turned out to be one of the most interesting and mysterious in the entire series. In 1960, the Denver Mint struck a large number of Lincoln cents, but here's where things get interesting. There were actually two major versions of the 1960 penny that were produced during that year: the large date and the small date. The difference between the two is subtle at first glance, but extremely important to collectors. In the small date version, the number 9 in 1960 is level with the 1 and 6, while in the large date version the 9 is noticeably higher and more rounded. The 0 in the small date is also slimmer and more oval-shaped compared to the wider and rounder 0 in the large date. Now, why does this matter so much? Well, the small date version, especially the one struck at the Denver Mint with the D Mint mark, is incredibly rare and hard to find, and that brings us to the 1960 D small date Lincoln penny, a coin that has stunned collectors with its scarcity and skyrocketing value over the years. In fact, one of these coins in near perfect condition was sold for over $1.14 million at auction, making it one of the most valuable pennies ever sold in American history. So how did such a small coin become so valuable? It comes down to a combination of rarity, historical interest, minting error, and condition. First, rarity. Not many small date 1960 D pennies were struck, and of those only a few have survived in pristine condition. Next, historical interest. Collectors are always fascinated by transition years and varieties, especially when the changes are subtle and easily missed. The 1960 small date fits that bill perfectly. It is a classic example of how minor design variations can create major value in the numismatic world. Third, and perhaps most important, condition. The coin that sold for over $1.14 million was graded at an ultra-high mint state grade. This means it had never been circulated, showed no wear, had full red coloring and sharp detail. The higher the grade, the higher the value, especially when the coin is already rare to begin with. But here's the exciting part: even if your coin is not graded at a top-tier level, it could still be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars if it is a verified 1960 D small date Lincoln penny. The key is to examine it closely. Look at the shape and position of the numbers in the date, especially the 9 and 0, and check for that all-important D Mint mark, which confirms it was struck in Denver. Now let's talk about the current market value in today's collector market. A verified 1960 D small date penny in circulated condition can sell for anywhere from $100 to $500 depending on its grade and appearance, but in uncirculated or mint state conditions the value can jump into the tens of thousands, and in ultra-rare cases with perfect color, strike, and luster it can exceed six figures. And yes, as we've mentioned, one rare specimen has sold for over $1 million. Collectors and investors alike are constantly on the lookout for these high-value coins. Auctions are fierce and prices continue to rise as awareness of this coin spreads across the internet and the numismatic community. So what should you do if you think you might have one of these rare pennies? First, handle it carefully. Avoid touching the surface, as oils from your skin can damage the coin. Place it in a soft cloth or a coin flip and have it evaluated by a professional grading service such as PCGS or NGCU. Might also consider visiting a reputable coin dealer or attending a coin show where experts can give you a fair and accurate assessment of your coin's authenticity and potential value. Even if it turns out not to be the $1 million variety, you may still have a valuable collectible that can bring in serious cash. This story is just one of many that proves how coins, especially those that seem ordinary at first glance, can turn out to be extraordinary treasures. It's a powerful reminder that history, wealth, and surprise can all be found in the most unexpected places, including the bottom of your coin jar or an old penny collection passed down from a grandparent. Video: we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1975 Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. You heard that right, a single copper coin from 1975 that could be worth as much as $1.13 million in today's market. Stay tuned, because this is one story you do not want to miss. Let's rewind history back to the year 1975. Gerald Ford was president. The Vietnam War had just ended. Gas was around 57 cents a gallon. But quietly and without much attention at the time, the U.S. Mint was striking millions of Lincoln pennies. Most of them were just that, ordinary. But a handful, a tiny fraction of them, would later turn out to be worth a life-changing amount of money. So what makes a penny from 1975 so special? The truth is, not all 1975 pennies are rare. In fact, billions were minted that year. But among them, a few extremely rare error coins or unique strikes have caught the eyes of collectors. One specific coin sold for a staggering $1.13 million. That's right. A coin you could have gotten in change from a vending machine might just be one of the most valuable pennies in the world. Let's talk about design. The 1975 Lincoln penny features the image of President Abraham Lincoln facing right with the words "In God We Trust" above his head. The word Liberty appears to the left and the date 1975 is to the right. On the reverse side you'll find the Lincoln Memorial with the words United States of America at the top and 1 cent at the bottom. Nothing seems out of the ordinary, until you look closer. Now here's where it gets really exciting. One of the most valuable varieties is a 1975 penny struck on a silver dime planchet. Yes, a penny that was accidentally made using the blank used for a 10-cent coin. This error caused the coin to be smaller, lighter and silver in color. Because of this major minting error combined with the rarity of such coins and the demand among high-end collectors, this particular specimen sold for over $1.1 million at auction. Let that sink in. A penny made by mistake sold for over $1 million. Another valuable variant includes 1975 pennies with double dies. These are coins where parts of the design appear doubled, especially noticeable in the text or numbers. If you have a penny where the word Liberty or the date looks slightly blurred or shadowed, take a second look. You might be holding a double die variety, and that can also be worth thousands of dollars. But it's not just errors. Condition plays a huge role in a coin's value. Coins graded as MS or mint state by certified grading companies like PCGS or NGC can fetch a premium. A 1975 penny in MS67 red condition, meaning it has never been circulated and retains its original red copper color, could sell for hundreds or even thousands depending on demand. And that's not including error coins, which, as we mentioned, can explode in value. Now let's talk about composition. The 1975 Lincoln penny is composed mostly of copper, about 95% copper and 5% zinc. That makes these pre-1982 pennies more valuable in terms of metal content than today's coins, which are mostly zinc. So even your average 1975 penny is worth more than 1 cent just in raw material. But of course we're here for the big leagues. $1 million pennies. Rare minting errors. One-of-a-kind finds. So how do you know if you've got a winner in your pocket change? First, grab a magnifying glass. Look closely at the date, the lettering and Lincoln's profile. Any doubling, odd spacing or unusual colors might signal an error. If you see anything out of the ordinary, don't spend it. Get it checked by a professional coin dealer or send it in for grading. It could be worth far more than you think. Collectors are always on the hunt for rare finds, and the 1975 penny market has heated up in recent years. High-end collectors at auctions are willing to pay top dollar, especially for authenticated errors or unique strikes. In one recent case, a collector paid over $1 million for a penny that looked completely ordinary until experts confirmed it had been struck using the wrong metal blank. Let's recap. The 1975 Lincoln penny is more than just pocket change. While most are worth only face value, there are rare and valuable varieties, including silver dime planchet errors, double dies and coins in pristine mint condition that can be worth thousands or even millions. The current known record is a 1975 penny sold for $1.13 million. And yes, it all started as a simple mistake at the mint, so next time you come across a handful of change, take a closer look. Your next $1 million might just be hiding in plain sight. And who knows, you could be the next lucky collector to turn a penny into a fortune. We have an extraordinary story about a seemingly ordinary coin, the 1976 Lincoln 1-cent penny. You might think this coin is just another copper piece in your loose change jar, but in reality this particular penny can be worth up to $1.12 million in today's market. That's right, over $1 million for a 1-cent coin. Let's find out why. Let's begin by understanding the background. The Lincoln penny has been minted since 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin features the profile of Lincoln and has become one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. By the year 1976, the penny was still largely made of copper, and the reverse still featured the Lincoln Memorial, which had been added in 1959 on the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, replacing the earlier wheat ears design. So, what makes the 1976 penny special? Why is it so valuable? The answer lies in rarity, unique minting errors, and specific varieties that collectors go absolutely wild for. In general, most 1976 pennies are only worth their face value or slightly more, perhaps 1 to 5 cents in circulated condition and maybe up to $1 or $2 in perfect uncirculated condition. But there are rare exceptions. The $1 million penny we're talking about today isn't just any 1976 penny. It's a rare error coin that was struck on the wrong planchet, meaning it was not minted on a regular copper blank. Instead, it was accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet meant for dimes or foreign coins. These kinds of minting errors are incredibly rare and often happen during transitional years or during complex production cycles. The result? A coin that looks like a regular penny but weighs differently and has a unique metallic composition. This particular penny was discovered by a collector who noticed the unusual weight and metallic sheen. He sent it in for professional grading and authentication. The coin was confirmed to be struck on a silver planchet and was graded in mint state condition. That instantly skyrocketed its value. In a private auction, it sold for over $1.12 million, setting a record for the most valuable Lincoln penny ever sold to date. But let's not stop there. There are also other valuable 1976 pennies that might be sitting unnoticed in coin jars, wallets, or old drawers. Some 1976 pennies have double die obverse, meaning the design elements like the word Liberty or the date appear slightly doubled due to misalignment during the striking process. These double die errors can fetch anywhere from $50 to several $1,000s depending on condition. There's also interest in coins with off-center strikes, which happen when the coin blank is not properly centered when struck. These off-center errors can make part of the design appear outside the rim or partially missing. Depending on how dramatic the error is and how clear the date remains, these coins can be worth anywhere from $10 to a few $100s. Now let's talk about the general characteristics you should look for when examining your 1976 pennies. First, check the mint mark. If you find a 1976 penny with a small d below the date, that means it was minted in Denver. If there's an S, it came from the San Francisco Mint and is usually a proof coin. No mint mark means it was struck in Philadelphia. While regular mint mark coins are typically not very valuable, condition still plays a big role. A coin in mint state 65 or higher, certified by PCGS or NGC, can sell for $10 to $50 even without rare errors, but the real jackpot comes from coins with rare composition or unique strikes. If you suspect your penny looks odd, sounds different when dropped, or weighs differently than standard pennies, it might be worth getting it professionally graded. A regular 1976 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If yours weighs significantly less or more, it might be an error coin. Always use a precise digital scale to measure it. So where can you find these valuable pennies? Believe it or not, they still show up in circulation. Coin roll hunting is a popular hobby where collectors go through rolls of coins from banks in search of rare dates and errors. You can also check old change jars, boxes of coins in your attic or inherited coin collections. Many people don't realize they might be sitting on a gold mine in the form of an old penny. Now let's talk briefly about the grading process. Grading is how a coin's condition is evaluated by professionals, and it has a huge impact on value. Coins are graded from 1 to 70, with higher numbers meaning better condition. A coin graded MS65 or higher means it's in mint state with very few marks or signs of wear. Getting your coin graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC can not only authenticate it but also increase its market value when you sell it. And speaking of market value, let's revisit that astonishing sale. The 1976 silver penny sold for over $1.12 million in a private auction due to its extreme rarity and high grade. It was considered a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Since then, collectors have been on high alert for similar errors from the 1970s era. While there's no guarantee that another will be found, it has sparked massive interest and revived the search for valuable Lincoln cents. So the takeaway here is simple. Check your change. Take a closer look at those old pennies. You might just have a coin worth thousands or even millions of dollars hiding in plain sight. Don't clean your coins and don't try to alter them in any way. Just store them safely and consider reaching out to a local coin dealer or sending it in for grading if you think you found something special. We explore the fascinating world of rare coins and unexpected treasures that could be hiding right in your pocket change. Today we are diving deep into the story of the 1977 Lincoln penny, a coin that at first glance might seem ordinary but has stunned collectors and coin experts alike due to one of its rare variants being valued at an incredible $1.11 million. Yes, you heard that right, one single penny potentially worth over $1 million. So how is that even possible? What makes this 1-cent coin from 1977 minted in Denver such a hot item in the numismatic world? Let us break it down step by step, from the history of the coin to its design and finally to the market value that turned heads across the country. First, let us talk about the history. The Lincoln penny was introduced back in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first time a real historical figure appeared on a regular issue United States coin. The obverse, or the front side of the coin, has always featured the iconic profile of President Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Now fast forward to 1977, the United States Mint was producing Lincoln pennies in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coin we are focusing on today is the 1977 D penny, where D stands for Denver Mint. In most cases, the 1977 D penny is extremely common. Over 4.2 billion of these coins were minted that year alone. That means in general they are not rare, and you can even find them in circulation to this day, worth only face value or maybe slightly more if in pristine uncirculated condition. So why then would anyone pay over $1 million for one of these coins? The answer lies in a rare error or variety that turned this ordinary coin into a collector's dream. In rare situations, a coin can be struck with a unique error, such as being made of the wrong metal, double die errors, off-center strikes, or transitional compositions. These errors make the coin one of a kind or extremely limited in number. One of the most notable rumors in the numismatic world is the existence of a 1977 D Lincoln penny struck on a bronze planchet from a prior year, or struck with a unique die that was not meant for that coin. This kind of error can increase the value exponentially depending on its condition, rarity, and historical significance. Now let us dive into the details of the coin's appearance. The obverse of the 1977 D penny features Abraham Lincoln facing right with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above his head, liberty on the left, and the date 1977 followed by the D mint mark on the right. The reverse side, designed by Frank Gasparo, displays the Lincoln Memorial along with the words United States of America, e pluribus unum, and 1 cent. Normally this design is plain simple and seen billions of times, but if the coin was struck with an error such as a double die reverse or was made from a rare metal planchet, its look and feel would differ under close inspection, especially under magnification. Now here is the game changer in a highly publicized private sale that rocked the coin collecting world. A rare error. 1977 D Lincoln penny reportedly fetched a staggering $1.11 million due to its perfect condition, unique strike, and ultra-rare composition. While the exact details of the error are not publicly documented due to the private nature of the sale, it is widely believed that the coin involved a previously undocumented error, possibly a transitional planchet from an earlier bronze series or an unintentional die clash. Regardless of the specifics, this sale confirmed what many collectors already suspected, that even modern-looking pennies can be worth a fortune if they possess the right error and are authenticated by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC. So, what should you be looking for if you come across a 1977 D penny in your spare change or in an old coin jar? First, check for weight using a precise coin scale. A standard 1977 D penny made of copper should weigh about 3.11 grams, but if your coin weighs significantly less or more, it might be struck on the wrong planchet. Second, look for visual oddities like doubled lettering, strange metal textures, off-center images, or missing design elements. These signs could indicate a mint error. Third, consider getting your coin professionally graded. Even if you think it is ordinary, a trained numismatist might spot something that dramatically increases its value. So why are rare coins like this so valuable? There are a few reasons. First, scarcity. Whenever a coin is discovered to be one of only a few or possibly even the only one in existence, collectors compete fiercely to own it. Second condition, the closer a coin is to mint condition, the higher its value. And finally, demand. Coins that make headlines naturally draw interest from collectors worldwide, which drives the price up. Now, as of August 2025, the general market value of regular circulated 1977 Lincoln pennies is about 1 cent. Obviously, however, pristine uncirculated specimens can sell for $1 to $5, and those with certified high grades like MS-67 or above can command prices from $50 to $100 or more at auction. But rare era coins, especially one-of-a-kind types with historical or minting significance, can enter an entirely different price category, as we saw with the $1 million sale. These coins are not just money, they are history, art, and a piece of American culture. So next time you're digging through your change or sorting through an old coin collection, do not overlook the humble penny. That small copper coin could be hiding a fortune waiting to be discovered. We're diving deep into one of the most astonishing stories in American coinage history. We are talking about the 1983 Lincoln 1-cent penny. A small copper-colored coin that for most people is just a penny. But did you know that one rare variety of this coin is worth an incredible $1.9 million in the current market? That's right. $1.9 million. From 1 cent to millionaire status. And today we're going to tell you everything you need to know about this extraordinary coin. Its history, its secret, its variations, and how you might be one of the lucky few to find one in your change jar. Let's begin by going back in time. The year is 1983. Ronald Reagan is president. Michael Jackson just released Billie Jean. Star Wars is still dominating the box office. And in the world of coinage, the US Mint is making a major change. Just 1 year earlier, in 1982, the US Mint made a crucial decision due to rising copper prices. Until 1982, pennies were made primarily of 95% copper. But as copper prices soared, it became more expensive to make a penny than the coin was worth. So the mint switched to a cheaper metal. Starting in 1982, all pennies were now made of zinc with a thin copper coating. This decision may sound simple, but it led to one of the most mysterious and valuable minting errors in coin history. And that brings us to the 1983 Lincoln penny. The 1983 penny was supposed to be made only with the new zinc and copper-plated composition. However, something went wrong. Somehow a few 1983 pennies were accidentally struck on the old solid copper planchets left over from before the switch. These copper planchets were not supposed to be used anymore, but a few remained at the mint and were mistakenly used for striking 1983 pennies. This error went unnoticed for years. But collectors started to catch on. In the mid-1980s, a few keen-eyed coin experts began weighing 1983 pennies and noticed that some were heavier than others. A zinc penny weighs 2.5 grams. But these rare 1983 copper pennies weighed about 3.1 grams. That's when the numismatic world realized something huge had happened. One of the most famous examples of this rare 1983 copper penny was discovered in 2013 and authenticated by the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. It was found in immaculate condition with clear details and a full strike. Experts concluded it was one of the only confirmed 1983 pennies struck on a copper planchet. Due to its rarity and historical significance, it later sold in a private transaction for an astonishing $1.9 million. Let that sink in. A coin worth just 1 cent becoming one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever sold. And the best part, you might have won too. So what should you look for? Let's go over the key points. First, check the date. It must be a 1983 penny. Not 1982. Not 1984. Only 1983. Second, you need to weigh the coin. Use a precise digital scale. A regular 1983 penny made of zinc should weigh about 2.5 grams. But if you find one that weighs 3.1 grams or more, then you might have a copper planchet error. Third, examine the coin closely. Look for clear, sharp details, especially around Lincoln's coat and hair. Rare error coins like this often come from early strikes and may have excellent detail. Fourth, consider getting the coin professionally graded and authenticated. Services like PCGS and NGC can certify your coin and give it a proper market value. A certified rare error like this could be worth thousands or even millions depending on its condition and authenticity. It's also important to note that there are two different types of valuable 1983 pennies. One is the copper planchet error we just discussed. The other is the 1983 double die reverse penny. This is another variety worth big money. A double die reverse means that the reverse side of the coin was struck with a die that had a slight misalignment or doubling in the design. On the 1983 DDR penny, the words 1 cent and United States of America appear doubled. These coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their grade. So now you have two reasons to check your 1983 pennies. One for copper planchet errors and one for double die reverses. Now let's talk about the current market value. In average condition, a regular 1983 penny is only worth face value. But a verified 1983 copper penny can range from $50,000 to nearly $2 million depending on its quality and certification. The one that sold for $1.9 million was nearly flawless and had full red luster, meaning it looked just like the day it was minted. Meanwhile, the 1983 double die reverse penny has sold for over $7,000 in mint state condition. So even if you don't find the rare copper version, you still have a chance to find something very valuable. So what's the takeaway here? Check your change. Dig into those old coin jars. Look at your childhood piggy banks. Search your penny rolls. There could be a life-changing coin hiding in plain sight. All it takes is a little knowledge, a little patience, and a good digital scale. To recap, here's your step-by-step guide to possibly finding a 1983 penny worth a fortune. Step 1. Look for 1983 pennies. Step 2. Weigh each one carefully. Step 3. Check for the heavier copper weight of about 3.1 grams. Step 4. Examine for doubling on the reverse lettering. Step 5. Send any suspicious coins to a professional grading service. And Step 6. If confirmed, be prepared to change your life. This is why coin collecting is so amazing. You never know when history, luck, and money can all come together in the palm of your hand. Today, in another episode where we explore the hidden treasures that may be sitting right in your pocket or coin jar without you even knowing it. Today we are diving deep into the story of the 2003 Lincoln 1 cent penny coin and how one of these tiny copper-plated coins has shocked the world by selling for an astonishing $1.8 million. That is right, folks, $1.8 million for a coin that was minted just a little over 2 decades ago, and one that many of us have likely held in our hands or even spent at a local grocery store without giving it a second thought. Now, before we get into the jaw-dropping price that made headlines and shook the numismatic world, let us first take a brief look at the rich and iconic history of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln 1 cent coin was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it has since become one of the most collected coins in American history. Over the years it has seen several design updates, composition changes, and mint mark variations, but the Lincoln bust on the obverse has remained a symbol of continuity and pride. Fast forward to the year 2003, the United States Mint in Denver, Colorado, known for its D-Mint mark, struck millions upon millions of these pennies for general circulation. In fact, over 3.5 billion Lincoln cents were minted in 2003 from the Denver facility alone. So the question becomes, what makes one of these extremely common coins so rare and valuable that it can command a price tag of nearly $2 million? The answer lies in one special coin that stood out from the rest due to a combination of minting errors, condition, rarity, and collector demand. This particular 2003 Lincoln penny that was eventually sold for $1.8 million was not your average pocket change. It was discovered to have an ultra-rare double die obverse error, which means during the minting process the coin die that stamps the image onto the planchet was misaligned or struck more than once, causing the design, especially the lettering and date, to appear slightly doubled, and this doubling was visible even to the naked eye. But what truly set this coin apart was not just the error itself but the condition in which it was found. It was graded by a professional coin grading service as MS-70, which stands for Mint State 70, the highest possible grade on the Sheldon scale. This means it was in perfect uncirculated condition with no visible flaws, under 5 times magnification, a truly pristine specimen in every way. Now consider this: only a handful of coins in the world ever achieve an MS-70 grade, and when you combine that with a dramatic and rare minting error, the result is a numismatic jackpot. Collectors and investors alike know that the coin market is driven by scarcity, condition, and story, and this particular penny checked all 3 boxes. It is the kind of coin that is not only valuable for its physical rarity but also for the story it tells and the curiosity it sparks. When this coin went up for auction, it immediately drew attention from top-tier collectors across the globe. Bidding wars erupted and the final hammer price stunned even seasoned dealers. $1.8 million for a 1-cent coin minted in 2003. Just imagine that. A coin you might have tossed in a tip jar or left under your car seat is now sitting in a private collection as one of the most valuable modern-era pennies ever sold. You might be asking yourself, how can I tell if I have a valuable 2003 penny? Well, here are a few tips to keep in mind. First, check for doubling on the obverse, especially in the word liberty and the date. Look closely at the letters and numbers under strong light and magnification. If the doubling is clear and pronounced, you might have a double die penny. Next, examine the overall condition. If your penny has absolutely no scratches, no wear, no blemishes, and looks like it was just minted yesterday, it might be in mint state condition. If you suspect your coin could be valuable, always consult a professional coin grading service or a trusted numismatist before selling it. It is also important to note that while the $1 million coin is extremely rare, there are still other varieties and errors from the 2003 penny run that can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their uniqueness and grade. Some examples include off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and coins struck on the wrong planchets. All of these can increase the value of what looks like a simple penny to incredible heights. Coin collecting has always been a hobby rooted in history, discovery, and passion, and stories like this one reignite that spark for people of all ages. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone just getting started, it is moments like these that remind us that treasure can be hiding in plain sight. So next time you come across a 2003 penny, do not just toss it aside. Take a closer look, because you never know what you might be holding. It could be a common coin, or it could be the next $1 million story waiting to unfold. We are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2018 Lincoln 1-cent penny coin and how some rare variations of this modern coin are being valued in the market today for up to a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. That's right, one single penny from 2018 potentially worth a small fortune. But is it really possible, and what makes this coin so special? Well, stick around, because we're going to cover every detail from the origin and design of the coin all the way to rare errors collector interest and current market values. First, let's talk about the basics. The 2018 Lincoln 1-cent coin is part of the long-standing Lincoln penny series, which began all the way back in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The Lincoln cent was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, and it replaced the Indian head cent, which had been in circulation since 1859. Over the decades, the Lincoln penny has undergone a few changes, including different metal compositions and reverse designs, but Lincoln's portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner, has remained a central feature on the obverse or front of the coin. In 2010, the U.S. Mint introduced a new reverse design known as the Union Shield, which has remained in use through the present day, including on the 2018 penny. This shield symbolizes Lincoln's preservation of the United States during the Civil War and represents unity with its 13 vertical stripes and a single horizontal bar inscribed with the word 1 cent. The motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, also appears above the shield. Now, the 2018 Lincoln cent was minted at multiple locations, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but the vast majority of them were struck at Philadelphia and Denver. Now here's where it gets interesting. While billions, yes billions, of these coins were produced in 2018, making the standard versions worth only face value, some extremely rare errors and variations have caught the attention of collectors worldwide and have sold for thousands, and in some cases even been valued at prices in the millions. So what exactly could make a 1-cent coin from 2018 worth up to $1.5 million? Well, the answer lies in mint errors, rarity, and demand. Let's start with mint errors. These are mistakes that happen during the production process at the U.S. Mint, and they can include things like double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and more. One known 2018 Lincoln penny error is the double die obverse. In this error, you can see doubling in the inscription, such as Liberty or In God We Trust. This type of error can add significant value to the coin, especially when it is in pristine condition with no scratches, discoloration, or wear. Another valuable error is the off-center strike, where the coin is not properly aligned during the strike, resulting in part of the design being missing. This can range from a small misalignment to a dramatic error where as much as 70 Or 80% of the design is off the flan, which makes the coin look almost unrecognizable. Collectors absolutely love dramatic off-center errors, especially when the date is still visible. There are also coins that were struck on the wrong planchet. For example, if a 2018 Lincoln cent was mistakenly struck on a dime planchet or a foreign coin planchet, these wrong planchet errors are extremely rare and can be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on condition and visibility of the error. But where does the $1.5 million price tag come from? Well, there have been reports in the collector world about a 2018 Lincoln cent with a unique combination of errors so rare that only one known specimen exists. The coin in question allegedly features a double die obverse, a major off-center strike, and was struck on a transitional planchet, meaning a blank intended for a different year or coin type. If this coin truly exists and is verified by major grading companies such as PCGS or NGC, it could easily fetch high 6 or even 7 figures at auction due to its uniqueness, historical interest, and the intense competition among elite collectors. Let's also consider the influence of coin grading. The condition or grade of the coin has a huge impact on its value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect uncirculated coin without any imperfections. A 2018 penny with a rare error in mint state 68 or higher can be significantly more valuable than the same coin in circulated condition. A few 2018 error coins graded MS67 or MS68 have already sold for hundreds or thousands of dollars on auction platforms like Heritage Auctions and eBay, and with time the value of top-graded specimens often increases, especially for low-population coins. Now let's talk about the market today in 2025. As of this recording, demand for modern error coins continues to grow, especially among younger collectors and investors who are entering the numismatic world. Coins with eye-catching errors, unique features, and high grades are being snapped up quickly and in some cases held in private collections for decades, which makes them even more desirable due to scarcity. Recent sales of 2018 Lincoln cents with minor errors have ranged from $20 to several $100s depending on the type of error and grade, while unverified claims of a $1.5 million sale are circulating online. What we do know is that several reputable auctions have sold individual error coins for over $10,000, and in the case of rare double dies or wrong planchet strikes, even more so. What should you look for in your change? First, check the date. Make sure it's a 2018 Lincoln cent. Then examine the coin under good lighting and maybe with a magnifying glass. Look closely at the lettering, especially Liberty and In God We Trust, for signs of doubling. Check to see if the design is off-center or if the coin feels thinner or looks different in color or weight, which could point to a planchet issue. Finally, if you believe you found something truly unusual, the next step is to get it graded and authenticated by a professional grading company. Only then can you truly determine its market value. To wrap things up, the 2018 Lincoln penny might seem like just another coin in your pocket, but under the right circumstances it could be a highly valuable collectible, with some error coins potentially reaching values well beyond what most people expect, even as high as $1.5 million. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just curious about coins, it's always worth checking your change. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2018 Lincoln penny, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more coin collecting videos, and